Hi, good morning, students. During the last class, we have discussed about a special kind of electrostatic system in which we have two equal and opposite charges separated by a very small distance. We called that system as a electric dipole. And we have seen the property of an electric dipole, that is electric dipole moment. And we can measure that electric dipole moment as the product of one of the charge and length of the dipole that we have already seen. Now we are going to calculate what is the electric field and the electric field intensity due to an electric dipole. Electric field intensity due to an electric dipole. So you can see a figure here. In the figure, we have a dipole, electric dipole with the charges minus q and plus q separated by a distance 2l. Two equal and opposite charges separated by a distance. And that small distance, even though it is a small distance, we have taken that as 2l. And this is a system of two equal and opposite charges. Yesterday we have defined what is an electric field. Electric field is the region surrounding a charge through which only it can interact with another charges. Here in electric dipole we are having two charges, two equal and opposite charges. So that plus q charge can have its own field and minus q can have its own field. And when you are considering these two charges as kept so close to each other, we can have a combined field of this plus q and minus q as the electric field due to a dipole, due to an dipole, electric dipole. So we have to find out what is the electric field intensity that we have already discussed yesterday. What is electric field intensity? That is the strength of electric field at that particular point. How you can find it out? Yes, to find out the electric field intensity at a required point, you place 1 coulomb positive charge at the required point and find out what is the total force acting on that. That is a method to find out electric field intensity due to a charged body or a charged system. So here for a dipole, the electric field intensity we are finding out in two different directions. Here the figure shows the required point P, which is at a distance r from the center of the dipole. From the center of the dipole, at a distance r, we are keeping a point P, where we have to find out the electric field intensity. That is, that point lies along the axis of the dipole. So that point is known as an axial point. Or generally we can say electric field intensity due to a dipole across the axis of the dipole. Okay, so what is the electric field intensity due to a dipole along its axial line? That we are going to find out. So please note down this diagram and listen here carefully. So we have to find out the electric field intensity at this point P. The method we have already seen, we have to keep 1 coulomb positive charge at that required point. So I am going to place 1 coulomb positive charge at that required point. Now you can calculate what is the total force acting on that 1 coulomb positive charge. How you can find out? You can see two charges present, plus q and minus q. Due to this plus q, force is acting on 1 coulomb positive charge here, and due to minus q, another force is acting on this plus 1 coulomb charge there, and the total force acting will be the force due to plus q and minus q. Since plus q and minus q are exerting force on 1 coulomb positive charge placed at the required point, we can say that are the electric field intensities due to plus q charge and minus q charge. Are you getting? So the total electric field intensity at the required point will be the sum of electric field intensities produced by plus q and minus q. Is it okay? So we have to find out separately what is the electric field intensity produced by plus E, that is plus q charge, that is E plus, and what is the electric field intensity produced by minus q charge, that is E minus. I am denoting like E plus and E minus respectively. The electric field intensity is produced by plus q charge and minus q charge, and you have to add these two so as to find out the total electric field intensity at the required point. Okay, so listen here. So when you are having E plus, what is E plus? That is force due to plus q charge on plus 1 coulomb charge placed at the required point. So E plus is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into plus q into, it is only magnitude, so you can take only the magnitude of the charge, q into 1 divided by, what is the distance from plus q to required point? We have already said that required point is at a distance r from the center of the dipole. So from the center of the dipole to the positive charge, the distance is L, and the distance from q to plus q to p will be r minus L. Are you getting? The distance from the center to the required point is r. Distance from the center to the plus q charge will be L, and the distance from q to p will be r minus L. I think you got it. So this will be r minus L whole square, since it is electric field intensity. Similarly, due to negative charge, E minus is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q into, again magnitude will be same, 1 divided by, what makes a difference here? You know, distance from minus q to the center will be L. From the center to the required point P will be R. So the total distance from minus q to P will be R plus L whole square. Okay. So individually you find E plus and E minus. What is our requirement? What is our need? We have to find out the total electric field at the point P due to plus q and minus q. Therefore, E net, that means total electric field, will be E plus plus E minus. E plus plus E minus. So E plus plus E minus will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q divided by r minus L whole square plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q divided by r plus L whole square. Okay. So we have taken only the magnitudes of E plus and E minus. We have taken only the magnitudes of E plus and E minus. But yesterday I told you electric field intensity is electric force acting. Electric force is a vector quantity. So when you are taking E plus and E minus, when you are taking the sum of E plus and E minus, you have to consider their magnitudes as well as directions. Magnitudes as well as directions. So you know, E plus is acting away from plus q and E minus is acting towards minus q. So E plus can be taken as positive and E minus can be taken as negative. So when you are taking these vector notations, E plus, this plus I am changing to E minus, then E plus plus E minus. Is it okay? So net electric field at the required point will be E plus minus E minus. So this will become 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q by r minus L square. This plus I am changing to minus here. So this will become 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q divided by r minus L whole square minus 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q divided by r plus L whole square. So common terms you can take out, take it out, which is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 multiplied by, again q will be out, q into 1 by r minus L whole square minus of 1 by r plus L whole square. Okay, so that is 1 minus L whole square and 1 by r minus L whole square minus 1 by r plus L whole square. In the denominator you can take it as a minus b whole square and a plus b whole square. You know a plus b whole square and a minus b whole square, let me write it out. So 1 by 4 by epsilon 0 q, that is E net will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into q multiplied by, cross multiplied by r plus L whole square minus r minus L whole square divided by, here a minus b whole square into a plus b whole square. You are already knowing a plus b into a minus b is a square minus b square. So its square will be a square minus b square whole square. So this will become r square minus L square whole square. So equations will converge into E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q into r plus L whole square minus r minus L whole square divided by r square minus L square whole square. And in the numerator we can have a plus b whole square minus a minus b whole square. You know a plus b whole square is a square plus b square plus 2ab, and a minus b whole square will be a square plus b square minus 2ab. So a square plus b square terms will get cancelled. In the first term it will be 2rl will be remaining there minus of 2rl. So altogether that will become 4rl in the numerator. Is there any confusion? A plus b whole square will be a square plus b square plus 2ab. A minus b whole square will be a square plus b square minus 2ab. When you are subtracting, a square terms and b square terms are getting cancelled, and the first term plus 2ab term will remain there, minus of minus 2ab term will remain there. That means 2rl and minus 2rl terms will remain there, and altogether that will become 4rl in the numerator. So this will become 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q into 4rl divided by r square minus L square whole square. There is no change at all there in the denominator. Okay, now you can write this bracket and you can write it as 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0. I am rearranging this 4r into 2l into 2r. Okay, no change at all. 2l into q multiplied by 2r divided by r square minus L square whole square. Okay, now you look at this term 2l into q. You can find that q and 2l are the two terms that is related to our dipole, property of dipole. What is q? Charge of the dipole. What is 2l? That is the length of the dipole. So you can take it is 2L into Q as the product of one of the charge and the length of the dipole. What is that? What is that? Yes, you are. That is the dipole moment of the dipole. And yesterday we have defined the dipole moment. Dipole moment is represented as P, and P is equal to Q into 2L. That is, Q is the charge of the dipole and 2L is the length of the dipole. So this 2L into Q you can replace by P, the dipole moment. Remember, P is the dipole moment which is measured as a product of 2L and Q. So this will become, that is, E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 P into 2R divided by R square minus L square whole square. E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 P into 2R divided by R square minus L square whole square. And this is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 P into 2R divided by R square minus L square. And what is this R and L? R is the distance from the center of the dipole to the required point, and L is the length of the dipole. L is the length of the dipole. So, when you are considering L in compared to R, L can be neglected. When you are comparing L with R is much greater than L. So, from the denominator, this L square can be neglected. So, E should be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 to P into R divided by R to the power 4. Okay. So, when you are considering that E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 to P divided by R, 2P divided by R cube. And that is the magnitude of net electric field acting at the point P due to that electric dipole of charge Q and length 2L whose dipole moment is P. And remember, this P is also a vector quantity. And when you are going to the vector notations, you can see that this E is acting along the direction of P. E is acting along the direction of P. And what is the direction of P? Direction of P is from negative charge to positive charge. So, E can be taken as 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 to P divided by R cube. This is the net electric field intensity due to a dipole along its axial point. So, you remember this equation, E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 to P divided by R cube. That is the electric field intensity due to a dipole along its axial point. Is it clear? Method is simple. You can have a dipole and the required point and place 1 coulomb positive charge at the required point, find out E plus and E minus, that is due to electric field intensity is due to plus charge and minus charge separately, and find out the total sum. When you are taking the total sum, remember that due to plus Q the direction and due to minus Q its direction, and when you are adding they are acting in the opposite direction. So, one will become negative. So, E minus will become negative and E plus will become positive. Okay. So, remember, finally the electric field intensity is acting along the direction of electric dipole moment, and that is from negative charge to positive charge. Okay. So, that is the field intensity due to a dipole along its axial point. So, in the very beginning I told you, due to a dipole we have to find out the electric field intensity in two different directions. One along the axial point and the other along the equatorial bisector. Now, we can move on to electric field intensity due to a dipole along its equatorial point. I think it is clear. So we can go for the next case, electric field intensity due to a dipole along its equatorial point. Okay. See, this is a diagram for finding the electric field intensity due to a dipole along its equatorial point. Equatorial point means the line joining or the line bisecting the length of the dipole. See, this is our similar, the same dipole minus 12 plus 2 separated by a distance 2L. From the center of the dipole at a distance R, you have a point P where we have to find out the electric field intensity. See, this P is at a distance R1 from plus Q and R2 from minus Q. Is it? And since it is the point P lies on the vertical bisector, we can say that R1 and R2 are same. R1 equal to R2. To find out the field intensity at the point P, what to do? Again, you have to do the same. What? Keep one coulomb positive charge at the required point. And find out what is the total force acting, which means what is the electric field intensity due to plus Q charge and minus Q charge acting at the point P. Okay, first of all, we have to find out that. So, you know, E plus is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q divided by R1 square. Okay, then E minus is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q divided by R2 square. 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q divided by R2 square. Okay. Now you look at this diagram. See, plus Q, due to plus Q, E plus is acting away from plus Q since they are repulsive interaction. And due to minus Q, E minus is acting towards minus Q along R2. Okay, so you have to add E plus and E minus. You have to add E plus and E minus so as to get the total electric field intensity. You have to add E plus and E minus so as to get the total electric field intensity. But the problem is E plus and E minus are vector quantities, and when you are adding these two, you have to consider magnitude as well as their directions. So, how you can add E plus and E minus? And suppose this is, or this angle may be theta. This angle is theta. Obviously, this angle is also will be theta. Okay, and when you are drawing a line parallel to the axis of the dipole, what will happen? This angle will be theta, and this angle also will be theta. Okay, then simple geometry. Then E plus can be split into two components. E plus can be split into two components. One component is acting in the vertically upward direction. One force will be acting in the, or one component will be acting in the vertically upward direction, and other component is acting along the horizontal direction towards left as shown. See the arrow marks. And you know, since E plus is making an angle theta with the horizontal, that will become E plus cos theta component, E plus cos theta component, and this will become E plus sin theta component. That will become E plus sin theta vertically upwards and E plus cos theta acting towards the left, horizontally left. Similarly, E minus should be split into two components, one along the same horizontal, that is E minus cos theta, and another component is acting vertically downwards, that is E minus sin theta. Are you okay? Are you getting it? See, E plus and E minus are making an angle theta with the horizontal direction. So its horizontal components are cos theta components. E plus cos theta and E minus cos theta acting along the same horizontal direction. And the E plus sin theta is acting in the upward direction and E minus sin theta is acting in the downward direction. Now you come back to our equations E plus and E minus. You have E plus is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q divided by r1 square. E minus is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q divided by r2 square. R1 and R2 are same, which means E plus and E minus are equal in their magnitude. E plus and E minus are having the same magnitude. Are you getting it? Then E plus and E minus, since E plus and E minus are having the same magnitude, their components are also having the same magnitude, which means E plus sin theta is equal to E minus sin theta, E plus cos theta is equal to E minus cos theta. Okay, now you look at E plus sin theta and E minus sin theta. E plus sin theta is acting vertically upwards, E minus sin theta is just vertically downward direction with equal magnitude. So what will happen? Sin theta components of E plus and E minus are getting cancelled. Sin theta components of E plus and E minus are getting cancelled, and E plus cos theta and E minus cos theta components are adding up. E plus sin theta, cos theta and E minus cos theta components are adding up. Okay, so the net effect of E plus and E minus at the required point will become E plus cos theta plus E minus cos theta. Okay, so the net electric field E is equal to E plus cos theta plus E minus cos theta. E plus cos theta and E minus cos theta. Okay, now this will become E plus and E minus are having the same magnitude. So the cos theta is also same, value of cos theta will also be same. So we can take it as either E plus or E minus, you can take it out. So that will become 2E plus cos theta. You can take it as 2E plus cos theta. Is it okay? So E plus cos theta magnitude and E minus cos theta magnitude both are same. So E will be 2E plus cos theta. Maybe 2E minus cos theta both are same because E plus and E minus are having the same magnitude. So we can have, that is 2 into what is E plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q divided by r1 square multiplied by cos theta. This r1 square you can replace in terms of known values. What are the known values? Length of the dipole is knowing, and from the center of the dipole up to the required point, what is the distance, that also you are knowing. So r1 square you can write as L square plus r square. So this will become 2 into 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q divided by r1 square, you can replace by r square plus L square. R1 square will become r square plus L square. And this cos theta, what is cos theta? Cos theta is equal to adjacent side divided by hypotenuse. Adjacent side divided by hypotenuse. What is adjacent side? Adjacent side is half length of the dipole L divided by what is hypotenuse, that is r1 or r2. Either you can take it as, but r1 we have already written as r1 r square plus L square whole to the power 1 by 2. That will become r square plus L square whole to the power 1 by 2. Is there any confusion? No chance, because you have already written R1 square is equal to R square plus L square. So what will be R1? R1 is square root of R square plus L square, that is written as R square plus L square all to the power 1 by 2. Okay, so this all together will become 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 2 into Q into L divided by R square plus L square whole to the power 3 by 2. How did it become 3 by 2? Here R square plus L square whole to the power 1, R square plus L square whole to the power 1 by 2. Adding 1 plus 1 by 2, that will become 3 by 2. Then E is equal to, what is 2Q into N? That can be taken as Q into 2N. Q into 2N will be P. So 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 P divided by, again you can neglect this L when comparing to R. So this will become R square whole to the power 3 by 2. R square whole to the power 3 by 2 simply will become, yes, R cube. Okay, R square whole to the power 3 by 2. How you can write R whole to the power 2 into 3 by 2. So 2 and 1 by 2 will get cancelled, will become R cube. So that will become P divided by, what is that? That is the electric field intensity due to a dipole along its equatorial point. So along the axial point, the magnitude E will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 2P divided by R. This is along axial point, and this is along perpendicular bisector. That means equatorial point. So here along the axial point, it is 2 times greater than the value along the perpendicular bisector. Or from the axial point, if you are moving to the equatorial point, the electric field intensity will become half of the value. Are you okay? Or if you are moving from the equatorial point to axial point, the electric field intensity will become double. So remember, along the axial point, the electric field intensity will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 2P divided by R cube, and the perpendicular bisector, that is equatorial point, the value will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 P divided by R cube. P divided by R cube, and here it is 2P divided by R cube. So that is electric field intensity due to electric dipole, separately along axial point and equatorial point. Okay, so that is dipole and electric field intensity due to a dipole. And here I am going to tell you about what happened to a dipole when it is placed in an external electric field. What happened to an electric dipole when it is placed in an external electric field? So this figure shows a dipole, the same dipole having the charge minus q and plus q, placed in a external electric field of intensity E. Remember, these lines are showing electric field lines. See the parallel lines with an arrow mark, they are showing electric field lines. And from the diagram you can see that these field lines are parallel to each other. Electric field lines are parallel to each other. What it indicates? Yes, yesterday we have discussed the properties of electric field lines. In a uniform electric field lines are parallel. In a uniform electric field lines are parallel. So this is a uniform electric field, and minus q and plus q are placed at two different points. Since it is uniform electric field, at both the points the field intensity remains same. So this plus q is experiencing a force F plus, and this minus q is experiencing a force F minus. And yesterday I told you a relation between electric force and electric field intensity. And electric field intensity E is equal to electric force divided by charge. Electric force divided by charge. So electric force F is equal to E into Q. Electric force F is equal to E into Q. So we can calculate F plus and F minus, the forces experienced by the plus Q charge and minus Q charge. So F plus is equal to E into Q and F minus is equal to E into Q. Magnitude of both the forces are same as E into Q. But what makes a difference there? There is a difference because positive charge will experience a force in the direction of electric field and negative charge will experience a force in the direction opposite to the electric field. So plus Q experience F plus towards the direction of electric field and F minus is acting in the opposite direction. So this dipole experience two equal and opposite forces. This dipole experience two equal and opposite forces. So what is the effect of two equal and opposite forces? Yes, equal and opposite forces will cancel each other. Since both are acting on the dipole, both the forces are equal and acting in opposite direction, they will cancel each other. Which means there is no net force acting on the dipole. There is no net force acting on the dipole. So there is no translatory motion. There is no translatory motion for this dipole when it is placed in a uniform electric field. But it is physics. Twist is there. When two equal and opposite forces, since they are not acting along the same line of action, we can say that they can generate a couple. They can generate a couple. And what is the effect of couple? Rotation. So this couple generates rotational effect. For that rotational effect, who is responsible for that rotation? Yes, torque is responsible for that rotation. So a couple will be generated, and as a result of the couple, a torque is generated, and as a result of the torque, this dipole will rotate. So we have to find out what is the torque acting on the dipole. So what is torque and how you can calculate the torque acting on a torque due to a couple? Again, it is the product of one of the force multiplied by perpendicular distance between the line of action of these two forces. Two equal and opposite forces acting along different lines of action generates a couple, and moment of couple, that is a torque. Moment of couple, that is torque, is measured as the product of one of the force and the perpendicular distance between the line of action of these two forces. So we have to find out what is the line of action of the perpendicular distance between the line of action of these two forces. Suppose this angle is theta and this length is 2L. So this length will be 2L sin theta. Again, simple mathematics. Okay. So the perpendicular distance you can measure as 2L sin theta. And one of the force you can consider, the force acting is equal to E into Q. E into Q. So the torque acting is equal to torque is equal to EQ into 2L sin theta. EQ into 2L sin theta. And you can take Q into 2L together into E sin theta. What is Q into 2L? Yes, that is P. So that will come P into E into sin theta. P into E into sin theta. What is P? What is P? Electric dipole moment. Is it vector quantity or scalar quantity? It is a vector quantity. And what is the electric field intensity? It is also a vector quantity. And what is sin theta? What is theta? Actually, theta is the angle between the dipole and the electric field. That is dipole moment and the electric field intensity. Theta is the angle between dipole moment and the electric field intensity. So we can see that this is magnitude of one vector, this is magnitude of another vector multiplied by sine of angle between these two vectors. Magnitude of one vector, magnitude of another vector, and sine of angle between these two vectors. What is that? Magnitude of A into magnitude of B into angle, sine of angle between A and B. Yes, that is the vector product between two vectors. Vector product between two vectors. So here you can have torque. Tau is equal to, in vector notation you can express it as vector tau is equal to torque. Torque is also another vector. Tau is equal to vector P cross vector E. Vector tau is equal to vector P into vector E. So this is, that is vector P cross vector E. That is the torque experienced by a dipole when it is placed in an external electric field, uniform electric field. So when a dipole is placed in an uniform electric field, external uniform electric field, it will not experience any translatory motion, but it experiences a rotational motion. This is the case when it is placed in an external uniform electric field. Suppose it is not placed in an external uniform electric field. If it is a non-uniform electric field, what will happen? It will experience a translatory motion, because then the forces acting on plus Q and minus Q will not be same. That is the reason they experience no translatory motion in uniform electric field, and it will experience a translatory motion in non-uniform electric field. Okay, so that is the torque experienced by dipole placed in an external electric field. Okay, here you see a system of three charges, a space where we are finding three charges, Q1, Q2 and Q3. They are separated by a distance R12 between Q1 and Q2, between Q1 and Q3 R13, between Q2 and Q3 is R23. So, suppose we are finding out what is the total force acting on Q1. Q1 will be experiencing force due to Q2 and force due to Q3. So, the total force, so F1, 2, that is force on first one due to second charge. This will become 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q1 Q2 divided by R1. F13 is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q1 Q3 divided by R13. Total force on first will be F12 plus F13, which is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q1 Q2 divided by R12 plus Q1 Q3 divided by R13. 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 is 4. If suppose there are one more charge Q4, then Q1 will experience one more force, that is F14 due to the fourth charge which is at a distance R14. If there are a fifth charge, one more force will be getting added, fifth charge, sixth charge, then so on. when you are finding out the total force acting on F1, we are adding all those forces. That is, F1 is equal to F12 plus F13 plus F14 plus F15 plus etc. F1n. If there are n charges in the system and you are finding out the total force acting on the first charge due to rest of the charges. See here, when you are finding the charge force due to Q2 on Q1, we are neglecting all other charges, presence of all other charges. And if you are finding force on one charge due to other charges, then those two charges only you are considering, neglecting the presence of all other charges. That is a special theory in physics that is known as superposition principle. That is known as the superposition principle, which means the electric force acting on a charge due to a system of charges is the vector sum of forces exerted by all other charges irrespective of the presence of others. Are you getting confused? I repeat, superposition principle says that the total electric force acting on a single charge within a system of charges is the vector sum of the forces exerted by all other charges irrespective of the presence of other charges. Which means, if you are considering the force due to F2, Q2 on Q1, you are neglecting the presence of Q3, Q4, Q5, etc. If you are finding that force on Q1 due to Q3, then you are neglecting the presence of Q2, Q4, all other charges. So, irrespective of the other charges, what are the individual forces exerted by all other charges on that particular charge? Its sum. That is the total force acting on a single charge due to all other charges individually, irrespective of the presence of other charges. So this is represented as F is equal to F12, F1 is equal to F12 plus F13 plus F14 plus up to F1n. This is the general equation for superposition of electric force. Since electric field intensity is also vector quantity, you can take E1 is equal to E2 plus E3 plus E4. That is E is equal to E2, E1 plus E2 plus E3 plus E4 up to N. So, superposition principle is applicable for both electric force and electric field intensity, since both are forces. I repeat, the total force acting on a single charge due to a system of charges is the vector sum of individual forces experienced by all other charges irrespective of the presence of all other charges. So that is our superposition principle. So that's all about our first chapter, electrostatics. So the main topics we have discussed here: the charges, properties of charges, then Coulomb's law, electric field lines, electric dipole, electric field intensity due to electric dipole, then dipole present in an external electric field, and now the superposition principle. Okay, that's all for today, and we will meet. Enjoy your time.